Hello again, everyone. So this week I'm going to be talking about Philadelphia sports teams and switch over from the toque to the ball cap with spring around the season and the MLB season starting soon. I figured I should switch out of the toque and put on the ball cap. I know back home in London, Ontario, you got a dumping of snow today, so that's exactly not spring weather. So hopefully that goes away soon. A little bit of an early April Fool's on my hometown there, but hopefully spring will be around this quarter soon and snow will go away. But switching to the baseball cap anyway. Hopefully that'll send some vibes back home to get the snow out of there. So obviously I'm going to start with the Philadelphia Phillies, the MLB team for Philadelphia week. Looking at the Phillies, last year they had a 73-89 record. They do play in a tough division in the East with the Nationals. Obviously, you got Strasburg, and then them signing Scherzer has made them an even more competitive team for sure. The Braves, who have been a successful team for a lot of years. The Marlins, who after that blockbuster trade with the Blue Jays a few years back, the players they got in that are now starting to develop and starting to make an impact, so they're starting to improve. And then if Matt Harvey can be healthy for the Mets, you got another solid team in that division there. So I think to win the NL East, the Phillies would have to bare minimum flip their record to an 89-73 kind of season. I do think whoever wins that division is going to be a 90-plus win team. So they do play in a tough division. They're going to have to hope for a wild card spot because I do think the Nationals, even going into the season, I'm going to say the Nationals are going to win that division before the season's even started. Hopefully it doesn't jinx them. Hopefully the Phillies can find a way to prove everyone wrong that the Nationals aren't going to just run away with that division. They can be competitive. So good luck to the Phillies this upcoming year in that division. I do think they've brought in some players that are going to make an impact for the team and help them out. Obviously, Aaron Harang, getting him from the Braves. Last year, he had a 3.57 ERA with a 12-12 record, 200 plus innings pitched. So he's a solid guy to bring in as your number two starter behind Cole Hamels, who's obviously your number one starter. Last year, 2.46 ERA with another 200 plus inning pitched guy, and Cole Hamels can be a strikeout per inning pitcher as well. So I think that's a solid 1-2 punch for the Phillies to have. Papelbon is their closer for right now. Who knows what'll happen with him? Trade rumors are kind of always swirling with him. He could go to the Blue Jays maybe. Being a Canadian, that would be kind of cool if he went there. But I think the Phillies are going to have to get something substantial if they want to let him go. Because Papelbon last year had a 2.04 ERA with 39 saves, and he's a strikeout per inning kind of a closer. So he's not going to be able to let go very easily for the Phillies. They're going to have to get something big in return if they decide to trade him. Outside of Harang and Hamels, I'm not exactly sure how their starting rotation is going to fill out. They did sign Chad Billingsley, who has had success previously in his career. He's been in some injury trouble the last couple seasons, but he could maybe turn it around and be a solid 4 or 5 guy for them. Buchanan is another pitcher you might want to keep an eye on. Last year he had a 3.57 ERA with a 6-8 record and 117 innings with 71 strikeouts. So not a strikeout per inning guy, but a solid middle of the rotation kind of a pitcher who can hopefully win a few games for you. Losing Kyle Kendrick, I think, is going to hurt them. Kyle Kendrick went and signed with the Rockies. Last year he had a 4.61 ERA with a 10-13 record and 199 innings pitched. So you lost a guy who was a 10-win player with a 200 inning guy. So if they could have found a way to keep Kyle Kendrick, they could have had Harang, Hamels, and Kendrick, all three guys that could be 200 plus inning pitchers, which would have been a really solid starting rotation. But I do still think that Harang and Hamels is a solid 1-2 punch. They did trade some of their position players away. Marlon Byrd, they traded him away to the Reds for some pitching prospects, as well as Jimmy Rollins. They traded him to the Dodgers for some pitching prospects as well. Hamels last year did have a 2.46 ERA, but a 9-9 record. With an ERA that low, you would suspect a better record from him, which would make you think that he wasn't getting the run support he needed, so trading away those players could hurt the team. But as well, a team is only as successful as their pitching. For a team to be successful, you have to have solid pitching as well as run support. You can have a great roster that scores 5 to 6 runs a game, but if your starting rotation has a 5+ ERA, you're going to have a 500 record and miss the playoffs. So you have to have both. You have to have run support and you have to have starting pitching. So trading those players now, it's trading them to teams that aren't in your division, is going to help for sure, and it's also going to give you the opportunity to have these young pitchers hopefully develop and turn into something that could be a top of the rotation, middle of the rotation kind of pitcher. So we'll see what happens with that. Bird last year did have a 264 average with 25 home runs and 85 RBIs, and then Jimmy Rollins had a 243 average with 17 home runs, 55 RBIs, and 28 stolen bases. So those are players that are not easy to replace. For sure, but I think they got some solid starting pitching prospects in those deals, and they at least traded them to teams that aren't in their division, so they're not going to turn around and hurt them by playing them 20 times this season, kind of thing. Looking at players that they still have, obviously they're going to make an impact. Ryan Howard, last year, 223 average with 23 home runs, 95 RBIs. He is a career 265 batting average player, as well as having 334 career home runs, so this season he'll get to 350 plus home runs on his career. Hopefully by the end of the 2016 season, if he can stay healthy and continue to make an impact, he'll join the 400 home run club. But we'll see what happens with him. Chase Utley, if Roland Derman is watching this, Roland, making a shout out to you, buddy, because I know you're Chase Utley's biggest fan. So if Chase Utley, if you get around to seeing this as well, Roland Derman, check him out on Twitter, check him out on Facebook. He's your biggest fan, buddy. So Chase Utley, great player for the Phillies, has been for numerous years. Last season, 270 average with 11 home runs, 78 RBIs, and 36 doubles. So he's getting into scoring position, which is important. And he's a career 285 batter. So he's a solid guy to have in your lineup as a solid, somewhere in the middle of the lineup, 3, 4, 5 batter kind of thing. Ben Revere, obviously, last year, 300 plus average, 306 average, great average. 49 stolen bases, so he's a threat on the base pass. You get him in your 1 or 2 spot in your lineup, you get him on base, he's going to get in the pitcher's head, and that's going to make it easier for your 3 and 4 guys to get easy pitches to hit and drive home runs. Over the course of his career, Revere is a 291 average and has 145 stolen bases, so this season you could see him reach 200 career stolen bases if he can get on the bases and make an impact. He could easily have a 55 stolen base season. Last year he had 49, so we'll see what happens with him. You also have Dominic Brown, who's an outfielder who last year for your team had a 235 average, 10 home runs, 63 RBIs. So now he's going to get some playing time. He's going to get some opportunities now that Marlon Byrd's been traded away. So we'll see what he can do. Your third baseman is Ash, who I think is going to continue to make an impact for the team. Last year he had a 252 average with 10 home runs and 46 RBIs. He also had 25 doubles. So if you put Chase Utley and Ash in the middle of your lineup, and they can get to second base, and then you get Ryan Howard up there, who's going to be hitting deep flies, as well as Ben Revere. You get him at the top of your lineup. You have a solid lineup. You get Revere on base. You get Chase Utley and Ash, who can hit doubles and get to second base. Revere can easily fly from first base to home on a double for sure, no problem. So I do think they have the lineup that can have a successful season and make some impacts. I do think their pitching staff has improved. I don't know if it's improved enough for them to make a playoff push, because like I said, they play in a tough division. I think it's going to require a 90-win plus season in order to be a playoff team playing in the NL East. But we'll see what happens. Good luck to the Phillies this upcoming season. Thank you again all for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at GHAM614. And I'll be continuing Philadelphia Week tomorrow with a look at the Philadelphia Flyers of the NHL. Thank you again.